Tonight's compilation, 4 stories. Real situations, real people, submitted anonymously to Reddit. Some will make you cringe, some will make you angry, and one might just make you feel a little less alone.
I was lying in bed, my mind racing with thoughts of my body, of my womanhood, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was different, that something was off. I had always felt like I didn't quite fit the mold, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why. I had been with a few girlfriends, and we would sometimes compare notes, but everyone would just say, "Oh, everyone's body is different," and I would nod, trying to believe it, but the doubt would linger. As I scrolled through my phone, I stumbled upon a thread about body positivity, and it sparked something in me. I started typing, "large clitoris," into the search bar, my heart beating a little faster with every keystroke. And then I saw it, a Wikipedia article about clitoromegaly, with images that looked exactly like mine. I felt a mix of emotions, relief, confusion, and a hint of fear. What did this mean? Was I abnormal? I thought back to all the intimate moments I had shared with my partners, wondering if they had noticed anything, and if they had, why they hadn't said anything. The memories came flooding back, and I felt a pang of self-consciousness. Had I been so blind to my own body? And do you know what she said next? I mean, what my partner said next, when I finally worked up the courage to ask him about it. Nothing. He just smiled and told me I was beautiful, that it didn't matter, but I knew it did. I spent hours reading about clitoromegaly, learning about the symptoms, the causes, and the more I read, the more I felt a sense of validation. I wasn't alone. There were others out there like me, with bodies that didn't conform to societal norms. And as I delved deeper into the world of clitoromegaly, I began to realize that it wasn't something to be ashamed of, it was just a part of who I was. But as I was reading, I stumbled upon some graphic images, and I felt a wave of regret wash over me. Why had I been so careless? I didn't want anyone else to go through what I just went through. So I updated my post, warning others about the graphic content, and the response was overwhelming. People were kind and understanding, and I felt a sense of gratefulness. As I lay in bed now, reflecting on the day's events, I feel a sense of peace wash over me. I finally have answers, finally have a name for what I've been feeling all these years. And it's not a bad thing, it's just me. I am me, and I am enough. I thought about all the times I had felt devastated, all the times I had felt like I didn't fit in, and I realized that it was all just a part of my journey. I was shocked by how much I had learned, by how much I had grown, and I knew that I would be okay. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my emotions lift off my shoulders, and I knew that I would be okay. I was okay. And as I drifted off to sleep, I felt a sense of closure, of resolution. I had found my answer, and I had found myself. I was no longer confused, no longer furious with myself for not knowing. I was just me, and that was enough.
Story number 2. Before we go, let me know in the comments which story tonight hit the hardest. Okay, this next one's a good one.
I'm standing in my living room, my heart racing, as my boyfriend storms out the door, slamming it behind him, and I'm left feeling utterly devastated. We've been together for almost 4 years, and I thought we had a good thing going, but lately, he's been making these snide comments that have left me feeling disrespected and unappreciated. I've asked him to apologize, to just acknowledge that his words have hurt me, but all I get is a half-hearted, "my bad," that feels more like a brush-off than a genuine apology. I think back to last night, when he asked me again if I was coming to visit his parents, and I told him no, for what felt like the 100th time. I needed a day to myself, a day to relax and recharge after working 6 days a week for weeks on end. And his response? Well, no one wants you there anyway. I felt a surge of anger, of furious indignation, at his words. How could he be so callous, so cruel? I asked him to apologize, to take back his hurtful words, but he just shrugged it off, like it was no big deal. So, when he asked to use my truck to go visit his parents today, I said no. I couldn't just let him use my vehicle, not after the way he'd been speaking to me. And do you know what he said next? That he would tell his parents that he couldn't come because I was being controlling, and that it was all my fault. I'm the bad guy, apparently, for having boundaries and expecting to be treated with respect. It's like, I'm shocked that he would even try to spin this that way. Doesn't he see that his words have consequences, that his actions have hurt me? I'm left standing here, feeling frustrated and alone, wondering how we got to this point, how our relationship became so strained. His dad even got involved, telling him that it was childish of me not to let him use my truck, and I'm just thinking, can't they see that I'm not being childish, I'm being assertive, I'm standing up for myself? I'm not going to let someone speak to me with disrespect and then just let them use my stuff. That's not how this works. As I stand here, trying to process everything that's happened, I realize that I need to take a step back and reevaluate our relationship. I need to think about what I want, what I deserve, and what I'm willing to tolerate. It's not about being controlling or selfish, it's about being respected, being valued, being treated like an equal. And if that's not what my boyfriend is willing to give me, then maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways. Maybe it's time for me to take care of myself, to prioritize my own needs and my own happiness. I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of resolve wash over me. I know what I need to do, and I'm ready to take the first step.
Before we continue, if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. These stories drop regularly and they only get better. Okay. Let's go.
I'm sitting on the toilet, clutching my stomach in agony, wondering how it all came to this. I mean, I've always loved carrots, can't get enough of them, but this is just ridiculous. I've eaten 1/2 kilogram of them every day for as long as I can remember, and it's finally caught up with me. I was looking at a photo of myself the other day, and I was shocked at how orange I was starting to look. It was like I was slowly turning into a carrot or something. So, I decided to take a break from eating them, to try and reverse the damage, but I just couldn't resist the temptation of my carrot stock. I mean, why wait until tomorrow to start my new carrot-free life when I could just eat them all today and get it over with? It was a furious attempt to consume 1.5 kilograms of carrots in one sitting, and let me tell you, it was a wild ride. The crunching, the munching, the satisfaction of devouring my favorite snack. But, as I'm sure you can guess, the consequences were not pleasant. I'm talking diarrhea, and lots of it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was devastating. I've been in this situation before, and I knew what to expect, but that didn't make it any easier. I was sitting on the toilet, feeling like I was going to die, wondering why I had done this to myself. And do you know what she said next? No, wait, there is no she, it's just me, alone in my bathroom, cursing my love of carrots. As I sat there, feeling utterly miserable, I couldn't help but think about how silly it all was. I mean, who eats 1.5 kilograms of carrots in one sitting? Me, that's who. But, as the hours passed, and the storm subsided, I started to feel a sense of relief, of closure. It was like I had finally said goodbye to my carrot addiction, and I could move on with my life. And that's exactly what I did. I got up, brushed myself off, and started my new carrot-free life. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I mean, I still love carrots, but I've learned to appreciate them in moderation. So, to anyone out there who's struggling with their own addiction, whether it's carrots or something else, just know that you're not alone. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to say goodbye to whatever it is that's holding you back. As I look back on that fateful day, I'm reminded that sometimes, it takes a little bit of pain to gain a lot of wisdom. And I'm just glad that I can laugh about it now.
Story number 4 coming up. Quick thing, if you haven't liked the video yet, now's a good time. It really does help. Okay, this next one.
I'm still trying to process the mix of emotions that's been swirling inside me for weeks. Furious, devastated, and shocked all at once. It all started when I noticed that my room would be open every time I came back home, despite me always closing it before I left. And then, things would be missing or moved around. At first, I thought maybe I was just forgetful, but as it kept happening, I knew something was off. My mom would always deny going into my room, but I knew she was lying, and that's what made me so angry. I felt like my private space was being disrespected, and I needed proof. So, I decided to take matters into my own hands and installed a Bluetooth surveillance camera in my room. I just wanted to know the truth, and I was willing to do whatever it took to find out. The next day, I received a notification on my phone that the camera had detected motion, and my heart sank. I pulled up the video feed, and there she was, going through my drawers, closet, and desk. She was even throwing some of my things out into the hallway. I felt a surge of adrenaline as I watched, my mind racing with thoughts of confrontation. I saved the video and planned to confront her as soon as I got home from work. As I walked in the door, I asked her straight out if she had gone into my room, and she denied it, again. But this time, I was prepared. I pulled out my phone and showed her the video, and her reaction was not what I expected. She exploded, screaming at me for installing a camera in her house without her permission. I stood my ground, demanding an explanation for her actions, but she just kept insisting that she had a right to go into my room as my mother. The argument escalated, and I ended up storming off to my room, feeling frustrated and alone. But then, things took a turn for the worse. My phone started blowing up with messages from family members, all siding with my mom and telling me that I was crazy for putting up a camera. It was like they thought I was the one who was in the wrong, and that's when I felt truly alone. But as I reflected on the situation, I realized that I wasn't crazy at all. I was just trying to protect my private space and my belongings. And do you know what she said next? Nothing. She just kept trying to justify her actions, and that's when I knew I had to take a stand. I started making plans to move some of my things to my dad's place, just to get them out of my mom's reach. It's been a long and difficult process, but I'm finally starting to feel like I'm taking back control. I've moved most of my valuable items to my dad's house, and I'm planning to stay there for a while. The camera may be gone, but I know what I saw, and I know that I'm not the one who's crazy. I'm just a son trying to protect himself and his belongings from a mother who seems to think she has the right to intrude on his private space. As I look back on everything that's happened, I realize that I was right to stand up for myself. I was right to install that camera and to confront my mom about her actions. And even though it's been a tough road, I'm finally starting to feel at peace. I'm starting to feel like I can finally breathe again, like I can finally be myself without worrying about my mom's constant intrusions. And that's all that matters.
And there you have it. 3 real stories, straight from Reddit. Good night.